Hello? Oh, hi. No, I'm not doing anything. Just waiting for the news. They're doing a special series this week about a weight loss program that was really a big fake scam. Oh, you did? Well, let me know if it works because... Oh, wait, here it is.
Most news stories are told within a few minutes within the broadcast. Others are more complicated and take a longer time to tell. And some stories are so important they need to be set apart from the rest of the news. The news director may think these stories are of such importance they will assign reporters to go out and develop them aside from the daily news. These special assignments may serve as an extension of local news coverage, or they may be ideas that station thinks its audience will be interested in. Whatever the reasons behind the special assignment, they give opportunities for reporters to develop stories more in depth. There may even be an entire team working to investigate a story. Without the time constraints imposed by daily deadlines, the reporters are able to cover the stories, give a complete picture, and not a condensed version. But those same time restraints will dictate how the end program will end up on air. In most cases, a special assignment will be broken up into parts. Over a series of days, each news program will allot a special amount of time to show one of its parts. If the viewers like it, they will most likely tune in to watch the next part. The regular viewers will be hooked on the story, and the station may even get new viewers who watch because of it. Local news stations compete for the same audiences and oftentimes show the same news stories. Special assignments are just one way they can set themselves apart from the rest.
No, I can talk now. It's just a commercial. All right, we'll go to the bathroom. I can wait. Wow, that's one beautiful car. Maybe it's time to start thinking about getting a new one.
Do you ever get tired of watching television commercials? I know I do. Sometimes there's nothing more frustrating than a commercial popping up right in the middle of what you're watching. But commercials are the economics behind television programming. Television news must also pay for the equipment, airtime, and the people who work on the show. However, television news is some of the more expensive programming to produce. Unlike other shows, the content is made up of real things happening to real people every day. This sometimes makes it easy to forget that news is a part of commercial television. They must pay for their production costs the same way that other shows do, through sponsorships, advertising, and commercials. Okay, so why would an advertiser choose a news program over the others? Well, there are many reasons. For one, a good news program has many viewers. Also, a good news program will earn the respect, trust, and loyalty of its audience. The advertisers hope these feelings will carry over into the products they're trying to sell in the commercials. So it sounds like the ad guy would have a pretty easy time selling commercials on television news. Well, that's not necessarily the case. In a good-sized market area, the stations are competing with each other for viewers and sponsors. It is important that they each do something a little bit different to keep the viewers, which in turn will keep the sponsors. You know, just like the newspaper ads pay for the columns we read, television commercials pay for the programs we watch. Ultimately, if we buy a product we saw advertised on television, we're paying for part of that advertising cost. Yet this is only pennies compared to what television would cost us without the commercial.
Hey, remind me before we hang up to write down everything I watched today. Yeah, I'm part of some TV survey or other. The weird thing is, there's been some really terrific stuff on this week, just when I have to start keeping track. Talk about lucky.
The number of people watching a television news program are kept track through television polls. A sample viewing audience is asked to keep track of their viewing habits for 1 week in a diary. From the information gathered, the shows are rated. Sure, it's not foolproof, but the science of polling has evolved into something that the industry considers pretty much accurate. All of these results are then put into a ratings book. This will rank the popularity of the show by time slot and give a percentage or share of the total estimated number of people watching. Sponsors are attracted to the shows people watch most, and the amount of money paid by the advertisers is directly related to the number of viewers. The weeks, which are tracked by television pollsters, are known as sweeps. Networks and stations know which weeks are sweeps, and work hard to capture a large viewing audience during those times. And a loyal viewing audience is just as important to news programming as it is to any other type of television show. For example, a programmer may plan a week-long special report just to draw in new audience members. The sweeps may even affect the news content of a program, or even how it is presented. Controversial or sensational stories may even get a lot of airtime. There's no doubt about it. A show's success is determined by ratings and the ability to draw a large audience. As long as television remains a competitive industry, ratings and sweeps will determine the popularity of a show.
Well, Amy, it's been nice chatting with you. Yeah, I finished up the intros to your Media Moments show. You looked and sounded great. Anyone would think you were a real expert on all that stuff. Oh, it's back on.
We've talked a lot about how viewers react to news programs. They relate to the stories because of the way those stories are told. They feel linked to the reporters and may associate certain news stories to the people bringing it to them. After viewing several of these programs, you probably began to associate my appearance with learning about behind-the-scenes activities that go on at a news station. When I talked to the various people involved in making the news, like the anchors and the reporters, did you feel like I knew them? Did you think what we had to say was planned? It may have appeared to be impromptu conversation, but everything that we talked about was scripted before the cameras even began to roll. After appearing in these segments, you may have thought I had a special insight into making the news, that I was the ultimate expert, and that's why I was able to comment knowingly. Would you be surprised if I told you I wasn't? It's important to remember that when you're watching a news program, the people who appear on camera are a sort of messenger. They bring you the news and information you want to know, but they may also bring you an image that may or may not be true. It's not dishonest or an attempt to fool you, but it is practical and economic to use a selected few to appear on camera. These people have a talent for communicating stories that were researched, developed, and scripted by others. But it's also wise to keep this in mind when you're watching television. It's important to be able to separate the news from the person giving it. And it's also important to recognize the way a story is told affects your feelings about it. This will make you a more educated viewer and allow you to view the news with a critical eye.
So, Amy, have you got any other jobs? Oops. Hey, Amy, I've got to run. I've got company. Sorry, I couldn't talk before. That was an actress friend of mine, Amy. Maybe you've seen her in something. You see, while you were learning about building news programs, we were building this one. There were cameras, sets, props, and a script. Amy and I are actors. We even took a class together. It was called Making It Look Real. Oh, and we both got A's.